All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of Out of Bounds. I'm Rashad Milligan, joined here by my co-host Curtis, Johnson, and Malik Brown, aka the
Bang!
super producer. How you guys doing?
Feeling good, man. It's been a while. It's been a while.
If you
Like,
guys
bang!
forget, Out of Bounds is a show that we have here under the brand of Rolling Out. This is a sports show we do. You guys might not have known. We haven't done a show in probably about 2 or 3 months, but we are here. we are here and everything because I think desperate measures call for desperate times.
Rashad, that's my line.
And I mean, the people is so much happening. We have to say something, and it gets to a point where it's like, okay, this happens. Like we have to say something at some point about this because it's just it's not going to go away anytime soon. It's a talk that's been had for about the past 2 months, ever since my good friend, also known as Coach Prime, announced that he was going to take the job at the University of Colorado. So for about the past 2 months, this has been a discussion in one way or the other, and it just keeps gaslighting. So we brought in a special guest. We brought in special reinforcements, Rolling Out's own HBCU correspondent, Miss Jasmine McClain, who, yes, she did graduate. Unlike all these other HBCU reporters, I'm looking at you, Rashad Milligan. She actually did graduate from HBCU. So, Jasmine, say what's up to the people. Introduce yourself. Let them know who you are.
Hey guys, I'm Jasmine McClain. I cover HBCU news, beauty, anything Black related. I love my people, and I'm looking forward to talking more about how we can excel or, keep the best foot forward.
Black folks.
Wonderful. So like I said, this HBCU thing in sports has just been such a discussion that's expanded and goes so much further than just what we see as the actual topic on paper and on a surface level. I think the first thing was with, I guess, just Deion going to Colorado. So the first thing, it was like he left after 2 calendar years, 3 seasons, 3 football seasons. If you remember, the 2020 fall season got pushed to the spring because of COVID and the SWAC. So he did get 3 football seasons in, but he left after kind of doing this entire thing of he's not going to leave for the money or prestige or name of any other school because he already had that as prime time, and he already had the money because he was prime time. So he didn't need any of that. And that's what he said. And he said, I'm doing this for such a larger cause and bigger purpose. My people, HBCUs, and to uplift all HBCUs, not just Jackson State. This is something he preached his entire time. People were like, he's just a football coach. And then other people were like, well, don't claim to be someone bigger than a football coach, like he did multiple times and before leaving after 2 seasons. So, I mean, 2 calendar years. So that was the whole first discussion in December. I guess we can start. Do you guys want to start from there or just go to the reason why we're here today, and then we can go from there?
I just, hey, you doing the run and show. I got a lot to say about all you talking about. I just need to know when is the proper time to start, as my boy Chuck D would say, start kicking the ballistic. Because the bottom line about Coach Prime, it sounds like, you were reciting, basically some of the stuff he was saying. It sounds like it's a bunch of fake news. It sounds like he's got a lot of Trump stuff going on. I mean, we don't really know he's paid in full. What we do know is he got a bunch of kids. We know that. We know he got a bunch of bills. We know that. We know he's got a lavish lifestyle. We know that. And we know that he's in the Hall of Fame and that he played, the Cowboys, last time they won a Super Bowl was like in 92. So that's like 20 years ago. So, and the guys wasn't even getting the money like that, when he was playing. So I don't know. I don't know how much money he really has. I don't know what's, the issues of the heart. The good Lord does. He knows the issues of the heart. But Deion's talk and actions display 2 different things. Now, the bottom line, the dude didn't have to be an indentured servant. We know he didn't sign, some kind of this contract in blood, but, just be a football coach. I mean, we got the communities already telling us who our Black saviors are. Don't put yourself out there unless you're trying to do that for the rest of your life.
No, so there's Curtis' take on it. Jasmine, did you want to say something on that?
Yeah, I mean, you said, well, Curtis shared something really important about just being a Black savior and that being the message for HBCUs. It's kind of like we don't need a savior.
Oh,
We more so, with the NFL and professional sports and athletics, we've been working in that space for a while to get our players drafted or, kind of fit in or whatever. So I think when he sold us on what his purpose and his message was for, the Black sports community, he didn't have to, like Curtis said, like it was just exciting to see that he was coaching for an HBCU, and possibly influencing other retired football players to do the same for other HBCUs. But, he set the expectation and then pulled back on it. So, yeah,
yeah,
that's, and it's
and
disappointing.
right, there was really nothing novel about what he was doing. Doug Williams coached at Morehouse and he coached at Grambling when his alma mater spot opened up. Fam had a whole gang. Tallahassee had a whole. Maybe that's where he stole this blueprint from. They had a whole fam. You had a whole NFL roster for all their coaches. So and it didn't work out that well. So there was nothing novel he was doing. Now now as a cornerback, especially a cover corner, him and Night Train Lane was probably the best that ever did it, bar none. But everybody on the line knows that, being a good football player does not equate to being a good football coach, does not equate to being a good head coach, and does not equate to being a good leader of men. The best place for a man to lead is at his household. And, since he don't mind talking about everybody else and, trying to defecate on my dear brother, Rashard, I wish I was around him a lot closer when that happened, because I would have spoke to prime time, But the bottom line with this is that, you can look at Deion's home life and, to see what kind of leader of men he is. From what I read in the papers, his in-laws was trying to beat him up. That's what I read. Malik, edit that if you need to, Bob. No, he telling all them lies and stories and couldn't even wait to Black History Month.
Kurt, you know it all, man. You know it all, Kurt. You know it all. But I mean,
I just fact check it, man, because I don't want us to get sued. But something about his kinfolks was trying to whoop him in the driveway or something. That's what I read. Somebody's brother. His wife's people or something.
I know one time in passing, he mentioned in a press conference he was talking about family, and he I think he said he stopped going to family reunions because one time they robbed him at gunpoint at a family
Oh, okay.
reunion.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so he I think like that's another thing Malik's gonna have to fact check. I'll say
Yeah, fact
allegedly
check it.
to cover us legally. And speaking of fact checking in Jackson State and everything like that, I think I might have the permission to share the screen. So I'm gonna try to share my screen right now because this just happened this past weekend with Deion Sanders. She went on Baller Alert on a podcast on that media platform
Now,
recently,
who is
and
that?
she
I'm
was
old. Who is that? What is that? I'm old.
so Ball
who is
Alert
she?
is just like it's just a blog. It's just like
Okay.
an entertainment blog, something like the Shade Room, something like even parts of what we do here at Rolling Out as well. And yeah, so she went on a podcast with Ball Alert, and she said that at Jackson they had like murders on campus every month. Now that isn't true. There was only one murder on Jackson State's actual campus in Deion Sanders' entire 2 calendar years at the school, which was, it happened in December. So it happened right before he announced his move to Colorado. And so, I mean, while the actual city, Jackson, they have a kind of like this murder thing going on over there. and it is a crisis, and there is a high rate of crime over in Jackson, I guess, for its kind of population, which is lower than Atlanta and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there aren't a bunch of murders on the campus. And
Why would
when
you
you throw
say
on the
that?
campus, you throw on Jackson State. So this is what she said. She had this apology video, and I will mute
Okay.
myself and play it.
Good morning, everybody. So, yeah, first, I would like to apologize for a comment that I recently made concerning the JSU murders. I do feel like that I over exaggerated due to the fact that every time I did come to town, I was made aware of shootings, murders, robberies, on campus, around campus, and in the city. But I really do apologize for what I said. It's just that things did happen while my family was there that the public was not made aware of. But I definitely shouldn't have exaggerated like that, and I do want to say that I do apologize for that. So I apologize to the whole JSU community, the JSU campus, and everyone that's, part of JSU.
So what's the agenda, what's the motive, and what's the benefit from the before, during, and after what you just showed our listening audience?
In the words of Neely Leaks. Now, why am I in it? Now, why? What is Jay? You can't throw a college. And the thing is, this goes to the entire point of what we're talking about here.
We're talking about the
Of what
leadership stuff.
of what the H no what hold on of what the
Oh.
HBCU kind of discussion is from people
Right,
who have been
right.
in the HBCU space, who have been covering HBCUs, who have been going to HBCUs, who have been supporting HBCUs financially, buying a ticket, whatever it's been for the few years before, pre Deion, pre Ed Reed, right? The thing is, people
right.
when these people come into spaces, and we'll get to Ed Reed in a second, excuse me, and they make these comments, and they make certain comments and stuff like that. It's like they don't know how it affects the actual school. You don't know how it affects the public image. It's kind of like Black people, we have this thing, this kind of unspoken agreement to keep everything in house. You know what I'm saying? White people don't need to be knowing all the mess we got going on in our house, because we have enough problems as is that are out in the public and that already make us look bad enough as a community. We don't need everything out to be in the public, because once it goes in the public, it's no longer ours. Everybody can touch it. Everyone can say something. And then you have this entire perception. So for a school like JSU, for any HBCU who is trying to get more funds in, right? Enrollment might be low. Like these kids, these 17, 16-year-olds, these kids, once you say something inaccurate, it hits it there's no coming back from that. There's no, what is it, 64-second video where you doing this and saying, my bad. There's no video like that that's gonna if a kid made their mind up that they're not going to this school anymore because you said something. Misinformation, a lack of knowledge, a lack of understanding of the history of why we are in this place, and not just something that's they taking the money. They don't know what they're doing with the money. If you understand, if a place is millions and millions and millions of dollars in debt, and you got $1 million, you like, why didn't $1 million go to the training tables and the so and so? Because they got it because I became the coach. It doesn't work like that.
And that was a pretty good imitation. What do you call it when you be mocking? Not, you wasn't really mocking them when you was trying to like sound like
impersonation.
Impersonation. That's what it is.
But that wasn't even just like, for Coach. That was for Ed Reed as well, and we can get into Ed Reed too. But I'll let you say your piece, Curtis, before we move on.
I mean, and that's why I was saying that that deal with Donald Trump. That goes again for that. You can't just say stuff, just because you feel like it. we too often loved, as you know, and I'm gonna say black folks love to yell fire in a movie theater. Um, you know, we love, and this is the biggest thing. You know, we love to have contempt before prior investigation. You know, we can just, somebody says something or we feel something, so then we can, proselytize and just say whatever we want and think it's no repercussion. Now, I talk real slick, and one of the reasons why I can talk real slick is I'm not too worried about nobody coming up in my face about what I said, period. And that's just been the way I roll. And just because you say something on a smaller platform, don't think that it's not people out here that's jobs is to scour media to find out what we have to do, the same stuff we do, to make or corroborate a good story. And what that young lady did was gave somebody ammunition to crack prime time straight over the head with at a later date, or right now, or to give somebody, to fulfill a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Jasmine, any reaction to that video, or I guess the dangers of spreading misinformation to HBC, why it hurts so much more at the HBC?
Yeah, I think like you were talking about 16 and 17-year-olds making the decision to go to college. And, we're technically savvy now. So aside from what their parents or their friends are doing, they're going on TikTok, they're going on social media to look like, what kind of lifestyle and culture do these HBCUs have? So even with her saying things about murder and things like that, I don't know if it was to justify why he was leaving, because they were spreading information like he was being robbed and things happened, which I'm not, those things may have happened, but it's a time and a place. And I think, we need a cap on what we're putting out there, because like you said, it's already hard enough, especially for HBCUs and students that, we're going to school for education, but it's also the culture and to learn how to navigate in life as a Black person. So the last thing you want to hear is that we're murdering people. And HBCUs have a thing where they're always in the hood. Like my school, there's like a hood next door. Morehouse, I don't know like how, bad these places are, but that's a stigma that a lot of students have already when they're thinking about HBCUs and going to get education in these places. So I wish that they could have had a team meeting, a publicist could have came or something like, listen, don't say anything and don't speak more about the situation until we have a cap on it. And then, you can say whatever, but it just makes it so hard to just put us in the best light possible. And I don't know how it is for PWIs either. They probably say things about those schools, but like you said, we already have it hard enough. So yeah, I just think the media and people just speaking too fast for likes and clicks.
Sis, what's a PWI?
A PWI, a predominantly white institution.
Okay. I'm old. That's the only reason why they keep me around. I used to think it was because of my good looks until,
I can't tell that. But people, it's easy to, want to go to those schools, and people we love have went to PWIs and things like that. And, it just looks good. You get better jobs. And I don't know how true that is, but those stigmas, I think it's hard to differentiate when you have things on social media. And this is literally like what we're into now. So I just wish we could put a cap on it. And there was a way to collectively get everyone together. Like, hey, let's not talk about this in public until we know the facts.
Yeah, y'all really, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but y'all really hit everything. At the end of the day, I just feel like people just gotta think before they speak. Because what she did, she spoke and she backtracked, and it's like it's already out there now. Like, we already heard what you said, sis. So at this point, we gonna run with it. And the fact that, like, I feel like the past couple of years, like, of course, just we've been harping on, support HBCUs, like that's been happening the past few years. And then when you hear stuff like this, is like you said, like y'all said, the 16 to 17-year-olds social media is open to anybody. So they see stuff like that, they're gonna be like, then if the parents see it, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm definitely not taking my son or my daughter to bloody like that stuff happens. So yeah, I mean, you just gotta think before you speak. Those type of things, you just gotta use your head.
And Malik, let me ask the group this, and I'll start with you. Why is it that when a guy or a gal with a whole bunch of degrees from institutions of higher learning that we trust, and certificates and accomplishments to back that up, speak, we don't even listen or like that? But if somebody with no accreditation just stop talking a lot of bovine excrement, which is Latin for BS, you know, start talking, and you know, we act like they just presented the seventh gospel, you know, like this is the truth, you know. I mean, and I'm not talking about Coach Prime's relative here. I'm talking about just anybody spewing anything about everything, and you know, we analyze, digest it, and are talking about it now. I mean, you know, why don't we just be like, okay, yeah, whatever, you know?
That's a good question.
Keep it moving. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like, you know, that person that you know, that most people listen to with, you know, no credits and everything like that, I feel like at some point, I guess they seem more relatable to that person. I mean, than the person with all the degrees and everything like that. Like a person with all the degrees and credits and everything, they probably did this, and this, and this, and this. And that person like, man, I don't want to do that. I want to do the easy way. I want to go the hard way. So you got not the hard way, but the easy way, like the easy path. So you listen to the person that don't got that much credit and everything like that. It sound good and it sound easy. So, you know, you go straight to that. I feel it's a lot of people like that have that type of like effect on people. Like I can think like, and I don't know his credits or anything like that, but dang, what's dude name? Dang, Rashad, I'm tripping, bro.
So
Nah. He was just on hey, but him too, but nah, the dude that be oh, bro, the Dashiki dude.
19.
Nah, he don't wear the shikis. Well, no, he do wear the shiki sometimes.
Yeah, he wear you talking about Umar?
Yes, there we go.
Johnson.
There we go. Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar.
I think he does have a degree.
He
I
does?
thought you were talking about him.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't know his degrees and everything, but that's a person that I feel like a lot of people go to and they're like, oh, like he's speaking facts and blah, blah, like this and that. I don't know, but I don't know what he got though. But he's one of those people.
Man. You know, my last name is Johnson. We're no relation. You know, and not even same plantation, no relation.
I think it's, you know,
Yes, he has degrees. He has a bachelor's of arts and science and psychology and political science. And then he has a doctorate of psychology.
From where?
Come through fact check.
From Philadelphia College of Medicine. But I don't know how you skip the doctorate bachelor thing.
Yeah, the doctorate thing was like a whole there's a couple scandals with Dr. Umar, and I don't want to speak too bad about Dr. because I actually respect Dr. Umar, like all things aside.
Somebody come to the office for Dr. Umar, I think.
Right, but
they come to my office about Dr. Umar. They better have made sure they ate plenty swine.
Oh, but
because you better bring your lunch coming to holler at me.
But with Umar, he had that thing that he actually get his doctorates. That was the thing. And then is the school actually real? The FDBNG or Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, FDBG. What's that? FDMG. There we go. Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey school for everything that he's
I
building
ain't
up there in
talking about.
Delaware. But yeah, those are two things of like, is this actually real? Is he homeless? Because every time he does a live, he's in a hotel or a car. So like
Ooh,
these have just been things with Umar for a few years
what y'all
now.
talk? We're talking about that.
But yes. So
You
moving
know,
past that.
and here's the other thing, y'all. I didn't give everybody a chance to comment on my question before I answer it. The reason why we do what we do, because unfortunately, it's something in our DNA been driven in us that we want that stuff to be true. That's why we listen at that.
I think like I agree with that, and I also agree, kind of going back to Malik's point of what he was saying earlier about people don't want to do the work. It's kind of like
That's true too.
the work of reading books, right? The work of reading a long article, the work of reading a research article versus watching a YouTube video. So it's like when you meet people who are all into all of the conspiracy theories, I think it just generally, you don't want to generalize someone, but usually that person might not actually, you know what I'm saying, um it's kind of a facade of like intelligence, artificial intelligence, and not the robots, you know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of, it's funny because it's like they come off as the smartest people, and it's like, but they're actually some of the not the brightest in the room all the time. And it's because they don't put in the work. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to put in work to learn these things. But it's so much easier to go off of a 60-second reel that you saw on Instagram of someone sounding, you throw in a couple big words you never heard, and you like, oh yeah, you say it confidently enough, this person knows what they're talking about. This is what the government's really doing. That's why the vaccine, the vaccinated rate in the Black community is so low. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why like Black people don't wear masks anymore. Like someone's like, because it's like you hear people, you're a sheep if you wear a mask. You're a sheep if you get the COVID vaccine. The white man is all trying to take us down in the Black community. And it's like, I could go on a whole tangent of that, but you kind of get the point. Jasmine, I'll let you answer the question.
I'm sorry, my computer checked out, so I missed the entire question.
Well, the question was just why do you think people believe over like certified kind of people, professionals, everything like that? Why do people believe someone who might not have the most qualifications but speaks with the most confidence over a certified professional?
I think you just said this when I came back in, but yeah, it's just them sounding really confident. And we have like a attraction to popular people or people that can sell themselves. So if they made a name for themselves, like doing something, it doesn't even matter what they did. They could have made an OnlyFans. They could have successfully like quit their job, started a business, even though that is credible. If they're really confident in what they're saying and they look like literally physically, they look like, this could be, this is true. I believe this person, then it's just kind of like they're selling themselves and we're buying it. And I think once we get on one accord and we do things like we just fact check and before we say things and, we're 10 steps ahead, then we can believe people who, credible or not, I feel like you learn from experience. So you can speak on things, but it's fact or opinion. Like we have to be able to know which one is which.
That leads us to something that I want to bring up at the end of this discussion. I know we keep putting every on the back burner, but like just the kind of the dangers in celebrity worship. I mean, obviously, Kurt, you being in the church, everything like that, about idolatry and all that and the dangers of it just from a biblical standpoint. But just like even in the secular world, like celebrity worship culture is kind of dangerous. Like, I mean, for lack of a better term, is dangerous because it's like when this Ed Reed thing happened, and we'll get to the details later, which I should have done up front. But it was like Edgar and James came out and said, yeah, me and Shaq and a bunch of Black billionaires were gonna give so much into that program and give so many millions and stuff. And people were like, well, why not? Like, why are we looking to celebrities to save us? Jasmine mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast. But I just want to ask you guys, like, I guess, all right, and we can start with Kurt, with you being in a church and it being a Sunday. What is the danger of celebrity worship in the Black community specifically?
Other than it's a sin, to worship anything other than God, to put anything above God, um, is sinful, and it's prideful, and he hates it. It's a distraction. Um, you know, it's two things that we can't have enough of, and that's time and information. And any of the time or information that you're trying to glean from these people, it's fruitless. Um, they're all flash in the pans. When you really get down to it, you'll know. And when you brought up church, but you know, they sin just. I mean, like everything else, they need a savior, just like everything else, and they're going to be judged just like everybody else. And scriptures tell you man will fail you, and when they say man, they're talking about men and women. And the more you look at it, and particularly, let's talk about it. You're gonna put me out there. How following, if because most Black people either tell you they're Christian, or some will say they're Muslim. More are saying that they're Muslim now. And I guess with you young folks, some of y'all might be saying y'all agnostic, or agnostically inclined. And I don't want to even put a name on a actor, actress, or whatever, but I ain't really seen nobody that that could hold my God, Jesus Christ, toenail. And for them to be knowing more about that guy or gal than they know about the him, or the Gospels, or the Old Testament, or New Testament, all that kind of stuff. It's just really crazy. And the same God that woke me up is the same God I believe, and I wish they believe woke them up. And I go on and on, man. This podcast really isn't long enough. And I mean, and then you having babies, and you having influence on others, and then you find out. I mean, how many people love Michael Jackson and Prince? And both of them died. I mean, before they reached my age. And I'm talking about I'm old, but I'm still young. And these football players, I mean, and basketball player, next.
Jasmine, you want to, I guess, expound? You spoke on this earlier in the podcast, but
Yeah. I think Curtis said everything, especially just how fruitless. That was a great word. I feel like I'm gonna use that more, but how fruitless it can be to, have false idols, and you're basing your lifestyle, your beliefs, and your mannerisms even off of these people. And some of it is like second nature, especially if you're like digesting that on a daily, watching TV and reading news. And people like us, where it's our job sometime, or some people may do it to pass by time. It's kind of like they can't help it, but you can, especially if you're centered and grounded in whatever spirituality you believe in. But I think Curtis said it best. And yeah.
I feel like the one thing in this world you don't want to do is lose yourself. I think once we start getting into that thing of looking up to other people, or like in worshiping them, you lost yourself. You got lost in the song. Shout out to Gucci. But yeah, I don't. And I mean, honestly, I feel like sometimes your idols are the ones they looking up to. They doing the same thing. They doing it, and they either looking up to somebody else, or they looking at the people that are worshiping them, and they're like, oh dang, they don't like what I'm doing. I got to do this different. I got to do that different. Like, you're losing yourself. Be yourself, and everything else will follow. Like, I think it's that simple.
100%, 100%. And I say all that as an intro to the Ed Reed situation. So Ed Reed, shortly after Deion lost for the second straight year in the Celebration Bowl to North Carolina Central this year, he was announced as agreed in principle to make the Ed Reed the next what was it, head football coach of Bethune-Cookman University. It was very specific language they used, but they posted it on their official athletic site. Like, it wasn't just a college football reporter. They posted it officially. So we were like, wow, Ed Reed is looking like he's going to be the next coach. They posted it, excuse me, on their official website, everything like that. Boom, we're here, we're good. Ed Reed goes around, does interviews locally in Florida, talking about it and what he wants to do for HBCUs and what he wants to do at Bethune-Cookman. This was someone that Deion Sanders ironically mentioned as a potential guy who wanted to get into HBCU coaching. Him, Ray Lewis, and some other guys were guys he specifically named who were looking to go to HBCU to start their college football coaching career. And Ray Lewis was rumored to be the next guy at Morehouse for like a year. It's never happened, so I don't know if it's actually ever gonna happen. But yeah, that was a rumor that floated around for a little while. Anyways, Ed Reed, one of the greatest safeties ever, top 100 player. Not quite Deion Sanders when you're talking about off-field charisma, off-field endorsements, playing two sports, having a rap career. But he's still Ed Reed. Pretty big name, pretty big personality himself on one of the more charismatic and memorable defenses in NFL history. So Ed Reed goes to Bethune-Cookman, and a few weeks into it, he goes on Instagram Live, and he's on the golf cart, and he's, look at this trash. This trash is everywhere. The money, what are they doing with the money? What are they? Deion was right. I can't with these bleep, 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 bleep. He goes on an explicitly filled rant on Instagram Live. He does it again from his car. So he goes on 2 rants on Instagram Live. And he says, I haven't, by the way, I haven't even signed my contract yet. I'm not even on the contract and I'm doing this. And I've been here for 2.5 weeks. So he does all that. And, it's a lot of backlash for that. And then they come out, and then a few days later, hey, I'd like to apologize for my comments, y'all, on Instagram. It wasn't representative of the university. A few days later pass, Ed Reed isn't going through with his contract with Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman pulled the table. They pulled the plug on him. He goes on Instagram again. A couple days after, he goes on Instagram Live and says, I'm sorry, y'all, for what I said on Instagram Live. I need to be more wise with my words and representing this university and this football. He goes on Instagram Live again, and he yells again. He yells again. I wanted to tell y'all myself, because they're going to tell y'all, this university is crooked. This program has so many problems. We can't do this. We can't do that. And they told me to leave, but I want you to know it wasn't because of them. It was me. And then he brought in his boy, Deion Sanders, and Deion Sanders comes in and says, my brother, God has a plan for you, my brother. And this might be the toughest thing that you ever, because I know you love those kids, my brother. And Jesus has sent us here to save the HBCUs and save football in the name of football. And Jesus Christ, my brother, amen. I love you. Go be on your way and be blessed. So they go and do all that. And yeah, and that being said, that was about 26 days of Ed Reed, no contract. By the way, Deion Sanders, when you saw him put on the hat, and when you saw him put on all the gear at Colorado, flew out PJ right after they lost in the game or whatever. After all of that, nope, that was wrong. Fact check. After he won the SWAC championship and they flew out on the PJ, he put the hat on, did the press conference, everything like that. He still didn't have a contract done. He still, and this happens at PWIs, I assume, at some other PWIs where they announce the next head coach, they announce, make it official, do the graphics, but the contract isn't officially done yet. And I believe that happened, I don't want to say too much after that, but that has also happened in other situations. It's just a thing that happens. So with all that being said, I guess, guys, what was your reaction to the Ed Reed era that was or was not at Bethune-Cookman?
I can start. I think just having experienced HBCUs, the culture, I was in the band, so I was like at every football game, practice, like I played football basically. it was crazy. But I think like where we are now with these, celebrities coming in with the savior complex, like we talked about, it's very egotistical, and it's more so like we don't really need like these things are like the cherry on top. Like we like Walter Payton went to Jackson State. My colleague, he played for Tampa Bay. We graduated together. So he went to the NFL. South Carolina State has 5 or maybe 6 or 7 players that have gone to the NFL, or they're in the process, like, on the way now. So it's kind of like they're coming in, and I don't know the expectations that Bethune set for him or that Jackson set for Deion Sanders, where it's like, we need you and this is what we're doing. But to do things on a public platform is kind of like your ego is showing. Like, we don't need help. And there's millions of colleges that may need, renovations and cleaning up, and the programs aren't as tight. And I think that's every college or every corporation or business. So it's more so to make him look like, I'm doing this, I haven't even signed my contract yet, or, big ups to me because I'm coming in to basically save the day. I think, speaking from a student and someone who literally is there and have been in the culture, like, we don't need that. We don't need someone who is approaching our changes and, innovation in that way. Like, we need a humble servant and someone who knows that I'm just the cherry on top. I love what you guys are doing. I'm not here to make changes. I'm just here to elevate.
Yeah.
Preach, sister.
I've really just like kind of dived into everything yesterday after like he did that and everything else. I had to go back and see, what the real thing, like the real problem was. And I mean, of course, like the whole video with him picking up the trash, talking about the trash and everything like that. And then I heard, okay, well, they really weren't, Bethune-Cookman really wasn't committed to him, I guess, as the coach. Like, they hadn't got the contract and everything together. So I feel like it was kind of a mess from there. But I think once he put that video out, it was like Jasmine said, you want somebody that's like humble, like, and I think we have this thing now where it's like, we always want to show what we're doing. Like, we always got to put it out on the internet, on TikTok, like, and at that point, it don't really seem genuine. Like, if you gonna do something, do it from the kindness of your heart or how you feel. Leave it at that. You don't got to put everything on social media. Like, and that's another, like, people, you want people to praise you, like, and it don't come off as that. Like, when I was watching the video of him doing that, I wasn't like, oh man, yeah, you doing it, like, that was cool. I'm like, dang, bro, why are you so aggressive? Like, relax, bro. Like, you don't really have to do this right now. So, and then with the video yesterday, well, I guess it'll be on Monday, but on Saturday, it's like, bro, like, you talking about God and everything, like, you this and that. Like, I understand you honestly, you might care for the kids. I respect that. But you at the end of the day, I feel like it's a price to pay. And at the end of the day, like, it, whatever happened with him and Bethune-Cookman, it happened. And then Deion come on. I'm like, bro, here we go again. Yeah, this thing going on, man. It's cool, but it's too much. It's just too much. So that's my take on it.
In the words of Nene Leakes, once again, God was watching that Instagram live. I was like, now why am I in it? Now why? God ain't got nothing to do with your college football team. And that's not even just to the HBCU coaches and everybody. That's to the Alabama, the UGA fans, all the SEC fans says, oh, God wanted Bama and Saban. No, God doesn't care if Nick Saban has 5 national championships. God doesn't care. But all right, Kurt, first, but before you speak, would you like to see Deion's portion of coming on to the live, I guess, for the audience who didn't see it as well?
Oh, content before commentary. So run it.
All right, let's do it.
What's up, big bro?
Love you, man. You know that, right?
Yep. We talked about this. We talked about this. We know the structure. We know the order. We know how it was going to play out. And you've been there fighting. I know what you're feeling. I know what you're going through. You got to understand, Ed, God has a time and a place for you, my brother. And I know your heart. I know everything that's going on inside of you. You know, I know you like a book. And I know how you feel about them kids, and I know you do not want to leave those kids. So I'm praying for you right now, man, because this is going to be the toughest thing you ever had to do in your life. Sometimes, Ed, you got to walk away, my brother. I know it's tough. I know you don't want to hear it. But sometimes in life, we got to walk away.
You already know, big bro. I
You
appreciate
didn't let nobody down, Ed. You didn't let them kids down. You did what you was called to do, and you tried your best.
Thank you, big brother.
I love you, man. I'm here. I will be on the next flight if you need me. You know that.
Nah, you good. You handle your business. You know that. I'll give you a call.
Please. Hey, you know what God wants from you, man, and be that. Don't let them provoke you, my brother. I love you, man.
Bro.
All right.
Why you look like that, Kurt?
My stomach hurt. Why would he say that? Why would y'all make me listen to that? Why would y'all do that to me?
You said context before comment.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, how he gonna say he know his heart when God said in his word, the heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it?
Speak on
That's
it.
what God said.
Speak on it.
Why would he say that? Why is he looking like one of my dear brothers up here who was on that Preachers of Detroit, Greater Grace? Chuck trying to look and sound like Chuck Ellis. Spencer's big brother, Greater Grace Temple. All he need is that microphone on it. Them preachers be. He trying to sound like a prosperity preacher. He trying to sound like instead of prime time, he trying to sound like Deion $2 bill instead of Creflo Dollar. I mean, what is that? And it's live. Y'all edit it, man. I mean, y'all need. He should. And the worst of it, he's sounding like a victim, and Ed's a victim. When they really those type of wolves that they was talking about in the book of Jude. The people that are trying to come in through the side door, the co-op, get their own agenda on. No, people, we don't need that. Not like that. It's no crisis. Black colleges are doing well. I mean, Charlie Joyner been in the Hall of Fame for 100 years now. He went to a black school. I mean, black schools was all of that. How come Deion didn't go to one? How come Ed football didn't go to one? No, they done ran all they bread and now they trying to be relevant. That's what all of this is about. Trying to save kids. Now, what black mama are gonna really entrust their kid to Ed Reed? They kid to Ray Lewis. We too selfish for all of that. If anything, we may be able to make a dent if we try to do hoop, because that it's only 5 players on the court at one time. And if you got 2 blue chippers, you may have a chance to get a big school to pop them. But football? Bro, sis, real linemen go to real schools. And them real schools right now are, in this order, I hate to say this, the University of Georgia, the University of Alabama, the Ohio University, because I can't say that being from Michigan, and the University of Michigan. Then their alma maters, Florida State and Miami, and then Texas, and then any other SEC school. Primetime's gonna get his clock clean at the Colorado University. Ask Mel Tucker up at MSU this year. It's rough. And with the transfer portal the way it is, if you don't like the way a kid's fart smells, he'll go in that portal and get some image and likeness money. This thing's about to get real cutthroat and crazy. But as far as that posturing that Primetime did, that posturing that Ed Reed did, that sideshow of a press conference, best buddy friends, no. You're not gonna make HBCU a reality TV show. Don't do that to our school. And this is the setup. That's the overlay for the underlay. I was just watching, and here's another Chuck D quote. I was just watching Channel Zero. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Carry that. That might have. Yeah, I'm with Malik there. That might have been like the best moment in Out of Bounds history right there with it. I'm so glad. I'm so glad I played the clip.
But I ain't Prime's daughter. What do I know? I'm just an old black man that went to a black school that became a black business person that raised an All-American in swimming, female, and she black like me.
Speak on it.
Where's it at? And the patriarch of our family, our big cousin, is the linchpin cornerstone and established, and we got to do an interview on it. Fisk gymnastics team, Fisk University gymnastics team.
That. Well, I didn't just do it, but I wrote a while ago about it being the first one for HBCUs.
Yeah. So, that's strong. This sideshow. Deion ain't even won the big one.
He said he went on Sherry Shepherd, I believe it was. He went on it was like Tamron Hall. He went on a talk show. I forgot who it was. It might have been Sherry Shepherd, it might have been Tamron Hall. And he said, without Jackson, salute to Jackson. Without Jackson, I wouldn't be here in Colorado. He's like, it's so much bigger than, just what people see it as. He said, I'm trying to become the first Black coach to win the national championship. And that's what he said. And it was like, he was saying this and like, I'm a winner, I win everywhere, that's kind of like his theme that he says and stuff. And going into the Celebration Bowl today, he was like, we're in O, right? So we haven't lost this year. Like, going into the Celebration Bowl, he said when he was asking about like why he left and stuff, he was like, he's starting to feel like, one of the things he brought up was he was starting to feel a little jealousy from other schools where they made comments talking about their 4 and 5 stars. And he's like, well, you guys had the same opportunity to recruit those kids that we did. And why are you jealous of our 4 and 5 stars? He's like, I was starting to feel that. And he was saying that like he was just dominating, going undefeated. You lost, brother.
You lost the whole game.
Twice. How are you going to win the national championship? You can't win the Celebration Bowl. But go ahead, Kurt.
No, and I know it was, Matthew McConaughey was, in that movie, but we already done had Glory Road. It's nothing Deion could ever do in Black athletics that could match what that Black school did to Adolph Rupp and Pat Riley's Kentucky, Kentucky Wildcat team. That can't be surpassed. The only way that could be surpassed is if Georgia or Alabama went undefeated for 2 straight years and Prime popped them. That's it. That's the only way that could be surpassed.
100%, 100%. And I guess we can pretty much wrap now. Jazz, I don't know if you have any kind of closing comments before we get into King and Queen of the Week, but this will be your chance.
No, I'm good. I feel the same sentiments.
All right, for sure. So, Jasmine, you are new to the show as a guest. So I'll have to explain to you how we wrap every week. We do king and queen of the week, where we pick one king of the week and one queen of the week. It could be in the world of sports, preferably. But yeah, that's just what we do. We shout out a man or a woman, black man, black woman, who are doing amazing things in their fields. So yeah. Does anybody have the first one? It's been a while, so I think I might.
Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp.
What college should he go to, Malik?
I don't.
I'll fact check.
Usually when Kurt asks this, it's usually
He went to Savannah State.
Right.
oh
Which means he played against Morehouse College. And when was he at Savannah State?
He was there. Let's see. 2000. Oh no, that's not right.
Mm-mm.
He was there a while ago. 1990. Is
From
that right?
1990 to what now?
I think 1990. Well, it says that he received his degree in 1990 from Savannah State.
Right. So my email is Morehouse_88. So you know what that means.
You were there when they played.
Yeah. And Jerry Rice was at Mississippi Valley State when I was in school. But anyway, I'm just saying.
I was trying to see how the math added up, Kurt. I was like, hold on now. But I'll let you, Kurt. Go ahead, Kurt.
No. Connect the dots. Just connect the dots.
Malik, who's your queen of the week, Malik?
Yeah, Savannah State.
Dang. I don't know. I might have to piggyback off one of y'all for Queen.
I'll go queen then first. De'Erica Hamby. The story I already put out today. Ridiculous. For those of you who don't know, De'Erica Hamby, she's already a mother of one to Maya, her daughter. She announced her second pregnancy during the championship parade for the Las Vegas Aces last season. So she was playing while pregnant. She was also dealing with knee injuries. So she pushed through all that to come back to the team in the postseason and the finals in particular, and play some solid defense and rebounding. Helped them to a championship, their first championship in franchise history. She's I don't want to say the only player, but she might just be the only player who stayed on the team. No, Kelsey Plum was. So I'm so glad I remembered that. But her and Kelsey Plum were two of the only players on the Las Vegas Aces who go all the way back to the franchise back in San Antonio. And so, long history with the franchise. They traded her. And she said they did it because she's alleging because she got pregnant again. So they were like, did you know that you were pregnant when you signed your extension with us? And she said no. And they said they thought she was lying about that. They said they thought that she wasn't giving her full effort in off-season workouts. They thought she wasn't as serious to get back in game shape in time for the season. For reference, I believe the last time she had a child with Amaya, she played that entire season. So that's what happened. Anything? Oh yeah. So that's my queen of the week. I don't have the king yet. I'll stall off. But anybody else for queen or kings of the week?
Yeah, I got mine. It's a combo situation, and it's non-sports related. But at the end of the day, it's what's super duper important for me and prayerfully for me and for most. I just shared a picture. So that's baby Shauna and that's baby Yana. And baby Yana was just born, and they were saying that she was going to have heart surgery because supposedly she had the doctor diagnosed her with left ventricle heart syndrome, which is something real nasty. the good Lord, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, and the Father, God our Father, felt different. So my king is Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, and God the Father, and my queens are baby Shauna and baby Yana.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the truth, man, bro. I mean, this left ventricle heart syndrome stuff was, they was like her heart wasn't big enough to support her body, and they was gonna have to do these heart surgeries. One, within 7 days of her being born. The other one was when she's 3, and then another one she's 14, and then pray they can get a heart by the time she's 30. All this stuff, man. And the great physician, said no. He said to do different. And it's one thing to ask for his will. It's another thing to accept it. And if y'all bothered to show that commentary with that foolishness that Coach Prime was saying, I felt fit based on that to, bring it back to, what God, person of God really is, and, what he's really doing. And dare I say, what's really important, because, let's face it, Out of Bounds talk about issues that are out of bounds and the issues that are germane to Black people and all people. And, it's an intimate setting, and, I ain't got no problem, testifying to how good God is and sharing that with my people.
God is good.
And that was that was a week ago. Yeah, I mean, almost 2 weeks ago. So, we've been off the air. So it happened, December 29th. The baby was supposed to come here the 3rd. They induced the labor to make sure everybody was right there to do what they needed to do. And God was like, hey man, I got this. We Gucci. Ain't that what you said?
Amen.
We Gucci. We Gucci. We lost in the sauce.
Go ahead, Jasmine.
Oh, and I get a bonus one too.
Okay. All right, Kurt done redefined the entire rules of the show.
Yeah, my queen of the week is Jasmine too, coming in here with all these guys, and yeah.
Agreed.
Thank you. That made me feel so good.
Brother, salute.
Nice meeting you.
New co-host alert.
Listen.
Co-host alert.
Not a pressure. But thank you. That was so nice. That was really sweet. That made my day.
Now Jasmine got another job to her already job title.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm in a frenzy. But no, that was so sweet. Okay, I saw this. I had to go back to my Instagram, but I have 3 Black men. Michael Beasley, I think Darvin Ham is how you say his name, and Tyrell Terry. They're talking about like their mental health. It was like a clip where he was basically just reflecting on his childhood and where he was now, and how, Black men, it's really hard out here for y'all. And I love y'all, but there's more resources now, of course, than it was before, but they all just really spoke out about how the limelight, it looks beautiful, but they battle a lot of mental health. And I thought that was powerful for them to speak out on and not, protect their image. It kind of like drew us, the people maybe watching the video, more to them, and they felt relatable. So I salute them for using their platform to talk about their struggles too, and how it's hard out here, but they can do it. They're an example of getting through that that mental health thing. So I would say those are my kings, and you guys are my kings too, because y'all giving us a platform to talk really against what everything is going on, and stand on it and be honest. So I think that's great. So I have 6 kings, and my queen would be, I just saw this article about Sophia Smith. She's a soccer player. She's like the first Black woman to get an award for being
female athlete of the year. Yeah. Soccer player of the year, women's soccer player of the year, Sophia Smith.
Yeah, and I think that's so unique because it's rare to see women, especially Black women, playing soccer. But I know that we can do it all. We have superpowers. So it's nice that she was recognized. So I think that would make her my queen.
For sure. Shout out to Sydney LaCroix. Shout out to Trinity Rodman, Dennis Rodman's daughter.
I
Shout
figured
out
I was
her.
coming. Yeah.
But yeah. Shout out Sophia Smith for sure. I wanted to actually write about that like last week or a couple of Monday at first, and I never got to. So I'm glad you did that right there, then and there. Yes, my king of the week. I'm stealing from you. I'll say Tyrell, just because Tyrell, he retired at like 22. He's like 22, 23, and he just retired for mental health reasons. He said he doesn't love the game anymore. And for so long, so much of his life has been kind of concerned and pressed about basketball and playing well in basketball. He stepped away from the game, at a young age. And he says, I don't care if you guys want to label me a bust or whatever. And that goes to Kwame and his entire thing, who was just on the Pivot podcast. But, like he was saying, I don't care if you guys call me a bust or whatever. Like I'm whatever you say I am in your mind and your reality. But for my reality, I'm stepping away from the game of basketball and focusing on being a human because I haven't been a human my entire life. I've been a basketball player. So salute to Tyrell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out.
I guess Malik, did you say you're a queen? You say you want to piggyback off of one of us. Have you picked your queen?
Oh yeah. Dearica. That's who I was. That's who I got.
Salute to Dearica.
Jasmine. I can't
Yeah,
forget.
there it is. So appreciate all of y'all for coming to watch us, to listen to us wherever you are consuming this content. About to bounce our first episode in about 2 or 3 months. I thought it was an amazing one. It was one for the books.
I mean, share. Don't be selfish with it. Share.
Share.
You have permission to share it. I'm talking to our listening audience. You have permission to share it, repost, comment, and the show is for you guys. So, if there's some commentary that you liked or didn't like or want to hear more of, or need something that needs to be highlighted, feel free to interact with, our team. It sounds like it's a bunch of dialogue, but it could, monologue, but it could be dialogue too. So, your input is important. We doing this for y'all.
Salute 100. Everything what Kurt said. And yeah, I guess with that, we'll all sign off. And until next time, you all take care of your